At first light, when the mist still clings to the emerald ceiling of the Amazon, the silence is broken not by predators, but by a wave of restless motion. A blur of small bodies erupts across the canopy. Branches tremble, leaves rain down, and the air fills with high-pitched chatter. Squirrel monkeys, no larger than a human forearm, yet numbering in the hundreds, announce their presence in the forest's highest chambers. They are acrobats in perpetual rehearsal, bounding from limb to limb with tails unfurling like aerial ropes. What may look like chaos to the human eye is in fact choreography, honed by millennia of survival in a world where a single misstep can mean death. These monkeys belong to the upper canopy, a kingdom suspended more than 30 meters above the forest floor. It is a dangerous place, yet also the safest refuge. Here, jaguars cannot follow and caimans cannot rise from the river. But the canopy hides its own predators, harpy eagles, snakes coiled in ambush, and silent ocelots capable of climbing into the shadows. To live in this realm requires constant motion. The squirrel monkey rarely pauses, rarely lingers. Its nervous energy is not a flaw, but a shield. Stillness in the canopy is vulnerability. Movement is survival. Unlike solitary hunters, squirrel monkeys move as a legion. Troops can swell to extraordinary sizes, some numbering close to 500 individuals. At such scale, they resemble a living storm sweeping across the treetops. For predators, the sight is overwhelming, the sound disorienting. Attacking one monkey means drawing the attention of hundreds, each shrieking alarm calls that ripple through the forest like electrical current. These calls are not only warnings to their own kind. Other animals, from birds to capuchin monkeys, heed the same signals. A harpy eagle may reveal itself by forcing a single squirrel monkey into panic, but within seconds the entire canopy is ringing with alarm, a broadcast system nature itself has refined. In this way, the troop becomes more than a group of individuals. It becomes an intelligence network, one of the forest's earliest detection systems. Their diet is as opportunistic as their movements. Insects pried from bark, nectar sipped from flowers, fruits stripped from vines, all fuel their high-octane existence. Yet these meals are not only about energy. Every fruit consumed, every seed swallowed and later dropped, reshapes the forest's future. By dispersing seeds across vast distances, squirrel monkeys are gardeners of the canopy, unknowingly planting the next generation of trees. Without them, many plants would fail to spread beyond the shadow of their parents. In this way, the troop inscribes its presence not just in the present moment, but in the architecture of tomorrow's jungle. Their bodies, though small, are specialized machines for survival at altitude. Long, dexterous fingers act like hooks, grasping branches with precision as they leap at impossible angles. Their tails, though not prehensile like those of spider monkeys, serve as counterweights, allowing mid-air corrections that transform risky leaps into controlled landings. The physics of their motion is extraordinary. Each jump is calculated by instinct, their brains mapping three-dimensional space faster than the human eye can track. Evolution has sculpted them not for strength, but for agility, because in a world of predators both above and below, speed and maneuverability are their only weapons. But the canopy is not always kind. In the dry season, when fruit becomes scarce, competition sharpens. Troops must travel farther each day, pushing through the canopy in search of resources. The monkey's small size makes them efficient foragers, but it also leaves them vulnerable to heat. Unlike larger mammals, they cannot store water or endure prolonged exposure. Instead, they rely on shaded corridors, traveling beneath the thickest foliage to avoid direct sunlight. When rivers or streams are within reach, they descend carefully to drink, though this exposes them to new threats. Jaguars may wait at the banks, and anacondas may lurk below the surface. These rare descents to the forest floor are tense, a reminder that survival is layered, and safety above does not guarantee safety below. Social life within the troop is as complex as any human village. Hierarchies form, alliances shift, and grooming cements bonds. Females are the backbone of the group, remaining in their natal troops for life, while males migrate when maturity forces them to seek new opportunities elsewhere. During the breeding season, males undergo a striking transformation known as fattening. Their bodies swell with water retention, their scent glands overproduce, and their behavior grows more aggressive. It is a display not only of dominance but also of fertility, a strategy to compete for female attention in a sea of rivals. Once the season passes, the males' bodies return to their lean, agile form, resuming the relentless pace of canopy life. Predator encounters reveal the brilliance of their cooperative strategies. When a raptor circles overhead, the troop reacts instantly. Some scatter, creating confusion. Others mob the predator, shrieking and darting close enough to force it away. In the face of snakes, their tactics are different. Spotting a coiled serpent, the troop erupts in alarm, gathering at a distance and maintaining a chorus of warning until the snake retreats. In each case, the predator is robbed of surprise, its greatest weapon neutralized by the vigilance of many eyes. These behaviors ripple outward, altering the hunting success of predators and influencing the distribution of prey. The squirrel monkey does not merely survive the canopy, it shapes its rules. What makes their influence most remarkable, however, is its invisibility. No single squirrel monkey dictates the troop's decisions. Instead, collective intelligence emerges from the crowd. When a few individuals discover food, others follow. When alarm calls rise, the group responds as one. This decentralized system mirrors the dynamics of other superorganisms in the Amazon, from leafcutter ants to army ants. But unlike insects, these primates balance individuality with cooperation. Each monkey is capable of independent choice, yet it is the constant negotiation of these choices that gives the troop its resilience. In this way, they embody the jungle's hidden law. Survival is not just about strength or cunning, but about connection. In the broader ecosystem, squirrel monkeys occupy a role far larger than their bodies suggest. They are prey to raptors and cats, seed dispersers for trees, alarm systems for other animals, and competitors for insects with birds and bats. Their presence reshapes the behaviors of countless species, even those that never see them directly. A harpy eagle may adjust its hunting grounds based on troop movement. A flowering tree may depend on them to carry its seeds to fertile ground. An ocelot may alter its nightly patrols in response to the troop's absence. The influence of squirrel monkeys is not limited to the branches they touch. It extends outward like concentric ripples, unseen but undeniable. Here, then, lies their connection to the web of shadows. They are not predators, nor masters of venom, nor wielders of stealth. Yet their collective energy rewrites the rules of the canopy. By transforming individual vulnerability into communal strength, by spreading seeds that shape tomorrow's forests, by serving as living alarms that echo across species, they influence the jungle in ways invisible at first glance. Theirs is a power not of dominance, but of presence, constant, noisy, impossible to ignore. They prove that even the smallest primates, when bound together in motion and voice, can alter the laws of survival. As the sun climbs higher, the troop fades deeper into the foliage, swallowed by green. To the casual observer, their departure might seem like absence. Yet the canopy remembers them. Seeds lie waiting in the soil, predators shift their strategies, and other animals navigate a safer world because of alarms already sounded. The squirrel monkey leaves behind no trace of its passing, only echoes, ripples of influence woven into the rainforest itself. And in those echoes, the laws of the jungle are rewritten, one leap at a time. The forest floor of the Amazon is not silent. It breathes with constant life, beetles scuttling beneath bark, frogs calling from the shadows, leaves rustling with the weight of unseen creatures. Yet sometimes the sound drops away, as though the forest itself has taken a cautious breath. Out of the mottled carpet of leaf litter, a pattern emerges. Bands of red, black and yellow wind across the soil like a living code. To those who recognize the sequence, no further warning is needed. This is the coral snake, one of the rainforest's most feared architects of survival. Unlike the chaotic leaps of monkeys in the canopy, the coral snake is deliberate. Its movements are unhurried, its path almost delicate, as though the weight of each coil is measured against the dangers of the forest. But within its slender body lies one of the most potent venoms on Earth, a neurotoxin that does not tear flesh or clot blood, but reaches straight into the nervous system, shutting down communication between brain and body. A single bite can paralyze, silencing breath itself. Yet the coral snake rarely uses this weapon. It survives not by the frequency of its strikes, but by the memory of what one strike can mean. This is the principle of aposematism, the use of color to advertise danger. Unlike camouflage, which hides, aposematism thrives on exposure. The coral snake's rings are not decoration, they are a banner of survival, a coded message broadcast to predators. I am dangerous. Test me and you will not live to repeat the mistake. This message is so effective that many other species imitate it. Harmless snakes, like the false coral snake, have evolved similar stripes. Even they, without venom, benefit from the shadow cast by the true coral. The deception works because predators cannot afford hesitation. For a hawk or a coati, misjudgment means death, and so the memory of red and black flanked by yellow becomes ingrained in the jungle's collective memory. It is not the strike of the coral snake that rules the forest floor. It is the idea of the strike. The fear of potential, not the reality of action. Predators shift their hunting paths. Small mammals give wide berth to shapes that echo the pattern. Even human cultures living along the Amazon have absorbed the lesson. Indigenous stories often invoke snakes as symbols of death, wisdom, or taboo. In this way, the coral snake's influence extends beyond ecology and into myth. Its lore is written not in tooth and blood, but in recollection and avoidance. Despite its fearsome reputation, the coral snake is reclusive. It avoids confrontation whenever possible, burrowing beneath leaves or slipping under logs to escape attention. Most bites occur not because the snake seeks conflict, but because it is stepped on or cornered. Its small fangs, tucked at the front of the mouth, are not built for dramatic lunges like a viper's. Delivering venom requires a firm grip, sometimes even a chew before the toxin enters. Evolution has shaped it for defense more than aggression, for deterrence more than predation. This restraint adds to the irony of its role. One of the deadliest animals in the forest is also one of the quietest. But restraint does not mean insignificance. In the delicate calculus of ecosystems, the coral snake occupies a niche that belies its small size. It feeds primarily on other reptiles and amphibians, lizards, smaller snakes, and frogs. By doing so, it regulates populations that might otherwise surge unchecked, influencing insect levels, plant growth, and even disease transmission. Each kill is surgical, its venom ensuring efficiency, but each absence is just as powerful. When the coral snake is not there, its prey move differently, multiply differently, and shift the balance of competition. The web of shadows is woven not only by visible presence but by invisible absence. For the coral snake, survival depends on more than venom. Thermoregulation is a daily challenge in the damp understory. Cold-blooded, it must alternate between shaded leaf litter and patches of sunlight filtering through the canopy. Too much heat, and its body risks desiccation. Too little, and its reflexes slow to fatal levels. This delicate balance means that the snake is most active during transitional hours, early morning, late afternoon, or on overcast days when the forest glows with diffuse light. Here, biology dictates behavior, and behavior dictates interaction. Predators are more likely to encounter the coral snake in these hours, reinforcing the visual memory of its colors when light is soft and contrast is high. The mimicry the coral snake inspires reveals deeper truths about natural selection. False coral snakes are not just lucky impersonators, they are evolutionary opportunists. In regions where true coral snakes are common, mimics thrive because predators cannot risk guessing. In areas where coral snakes are rare, mimicry loses its power and predators begin to test the deception. This shifting relationship between model and mimic is an arms race of perception, a psychological battlefield fought across generations. The true coral snake does not need to strike to win. Its legacy ensures that others do the work of spreading its message. When confronted directly, the coral snake's behavior is unexpected. Rather than striking immediately, it often hides its head beneath coils, raising its brightly colored tail as a decoy. This act of misdirection can confuse predators, buying precious seconds for escape. Its body may writhe in sudden, jerky movements, a display meant to startle without escalating. These strategies reveal a creature invested less in confrontation than in persuasion, a reminder that survival in the jungle is not always about violence, but about convincing others to choose a different path. The shadow of the coral snake stretches wide. Every creature that recognizes its colors, every predator that shifts course, every mimic that benefits from borrowed warning, all exist within the sphere of its influence. Unlike the squirrel monkey, which exerts power through numbers and noise, the coral snake shapes the jungle through silence and suggestion. Its presence rewrites behavior not by force, but by memory, an enduring impression carried in the minds of those who would otherwise challenge it. This is the essence of the web of shadows, power without direct confrontation, survival through influence rather than dominance. The coral snake proves that an animal need not be loud, nor large, nor frequently seen to govern the choices of others. It rules not as a tyrant, but as a ghost, its authority embedded in patterns that ripple through the forest floor. As the snake vanishes beneath the leaf litter, the forest resumes its restless murmur. Beetles crawl, frogs call, and mammals move cautiously through the undergrowth. Yet the shadow remains. Every rustle is weighed against the memory of red and yellow. Every predator hesitates before striking. And in that hesitation, the coral snake's law is upheld. It is not a law of violence, but of remembrance, one that rewrites the jungle not in blood spilled, but in blood spared. The Amazon is a cathedral of abundance where color and motion dominate the senses. Scarlet macaws streak across the canopy, frogs blaze with warning pigments, and jaguars ripple through shadow with predatory grace. Yet within this riot of spectacle lies another form of mastery, a creature that survives not by being seen, but by vanishing altogether. The camera lingers on a branch, rough with bark and moss. For a moment, nothing stirs. Then, imperceptibly, one twig shifts against the stillness. A leg bends with mechanical slowness. A body sways as though caught in a phantom breeze. What seemed like wood reveals itself as flesh. This is the stick insect, one of the rainforest's greatest illusionists, a master of disappearance whose very existence challenges the jungle's most basic rule, that to live, one must be visible. Camouflage in nature is not merely concealment, it is theater at the evolutionary scale. The stick insect's body is not just colored like bark or leaves, it is sculpted into them. Jagged edges mimic broken twigs, mottled greens and browns reproduce the patchwork of light filtering through leaves, and subtle ridges mimic veins of foliage. Some species even sprout spine-like protrusions that resemble thorns, making them unpalatable to predators before the first bite is taken. Their deception is not static, but dynamic. They sway gently as though rocked by the wind, an instinctual behavior that reinforces their disguise. In a forest where the eye is trained to detect motion, the illusion of plant life in motion is the most convincing of all. Survival here hinges on invisibility. Unlike predators armed with fangs or prey that rely on speed, the stick insect's strategy is radical in its simplicity: remain unnoticed. The gamble works because most predators, from birds to lizards, hunt by sight. By vanishing into the background, the insect avoids triggering the sensory thresholds that provoke attack. Its stillness is a language of safety, its disappearance a weapon as sharp as venom or claw. Yet invisibility does not make the stick insect insignificant. It plays a subtle but important role in the jungle's ecology. As a herbivore, it consumes leaves, pruning vegetation and influencing plant growth. In turn, it becomes food for a wide range of predators, from arboreal birds to opportunistic mammals. Its body, though fragile, transfers energy up the food chain, feeding those who do manage to pierce its disguise. Camouflage buys time, but not certainty. For predators skilled or fortunate enough to detect them, stick insects provide a ready meal, and so their presence or absence becomes part of the delicate balance of consumption and survival. Their bodies also hold remarkable adaptations for escape. Many species possess the ability to shed a limb, a defense known as autotomy. When seized by a predator, a stick insect may jettison a leg, leaving the attacker with only a fragment as the insect retreats into cover. The cost is steep, as each limb lost reduces mobility. Yet evolution has provided a further solution: regeneration. Over successive molts, young stick insects can regrow lost legs, restoring their body to functional completeness. This capacity makes them among the few creatures in the forest able to rewrite their own physical limits, literally growing past the wounds of survival. Molting itself is a vulnerable process, one that reveals much about their precarious existence. To grow, a stick insect must periodically shed its rigid exoskeleton, splitting it open and extracting its body with painstaking care. For hours, the insect hangs limply, its new cuticles soft and unarmored, its colors pale and exposed. During these moments, camouflage is useless and predation risk peaks. Survival demands precise timing. Molts are often synchronized with nightfall, when darkness offers a temporary cloak. If successful, The insect emerges larger, more perfectly sculpted to its environment, and ready to resume the art of disappearance. Reproduction adds another layer to their quiet resilience. Female stick insects often reproduce by parthenogenesis, laying fertile eggs without the need for mating. This capacity allows populations to persist even when males are scarce. Their eggs, resembling seeds, drop inconspicuously to the forest floor, blending into the litter where they may lie dormant for months, even years. Ants, mistaking them for seeds, sometimes carry them to their nests. Once discarded, the eggs hatch safely in hidden chambers, giving the next generation a chance to ascend once more into the canopy. Here, survival is not only about vanishing in the moment, but about scattering future lives into the soil, hidden from predators by accident and design. Predators, however, are not so easily defeated. Birds in particular have evolved the ability to pierce camouflage, detecting subtle differences in texture, shadow, or rhythm of movement. For every stick insect that vanishes into the foliage, another is caught mid-step, its disguise betrayed by the faintest twitch. This predator-prey tension drives an evolutionary arms race. Stick insects refine their mimicry generation after generation, while predators sharpen their ability to see the unseen. The result is a cycle of innovation on both sides, proof that invisibility is never absolute, only relative to the senses that seek to unravel it. What makes the stick insect so fascinating is the philosophy embedded in its survival. Many creatures of the Amazon thrive through excess, louder calls, brighter colors, sharper claws. The stick insect thrives by subtraction, by removing itself from notice. Its existence suggests that influence in the jungle does not always come from dominance, but from absence. By vanishing, it shapes predator behavior, forcing hunters to scan more carefully, to hesitate before striking, to learn patience. Each hesitation ripples outward, altering how energy flows through the system. The insect may seem like a passive participant, but its disappearance is an active force in the jungle's choreography. In a broader sense, the stick insect exemplifies the concept of negative space in evolution. Just as silence shapes music and shadows give depth to light, invisibility can be as defining as visibility. The rainforest is not only built by those who roar, strike, or dazzle, but also by those who vanish into the background, silently sustaining the system. By existing between presence and absence, the stick insect embodies the web of shadows more literally than any other creature. When night falls, their disappearance takes on new dimensions. Under moonlight, their silhouettes merge with the branches, doubling the strength of their disguise. Nocturnal predators, guided less by sight and more by vibration or scent, may still find them, but the odds tilt further in the insect's favor. It is a reminder that camouflage is not static. It interacts with light, with season, with perspective. The same insect may be invisible in one context and obvious in another. Evolution has not sculpted perfection, but adaptability. By dawn, when the first shafts of sunlight cut through the canopy, the stick insect is already still. A twig among twigs, erased from attention once more. It feeds silently, consumes silently, even breathes silently. To watch it is to question whether one has truly seen it at all, and perhaps that is the point. The jungle does not always reward the most aggressive or the most flamboyant. Sometimes it rewards those who learn to slip between perception and oblivion. Here, in the shadows of bark and branch, the stick insect writes its chapter of the Amazon's lore. It thrives not by teeth or toxin, but by erasure. It teaches that disappearance is not defeat, but strategy. And in a world where survival often seems to belong to the strongest, this fragile insect proves that the unseen can be just as powerful. Its legacy is not the dramatic chase or the sudden strike, but the pause it forces in others, the hesitation, the second glance, the unclaimed meal. That pause is influence, that pause is power. And in that pause, the jungle itself is rewritten. The jungle awakens in layers. In the canopy, parrots scream their territorial claims. On the forest floor, peccaries shuffle through roots in restless search. But at the margins of rivers, where the Amazon's waters meet open banks of sunlit grass, a different rhythm takes hold. It is slower, calmer, almost pastoral in comparison. Here, the capybara reigns, not through strength or speed, but through quiet persistence, shaping the ecosystem with every bite of grass and every ripple in the water. To see them first is to underestimate them. Their bodies are barrel-shaped, their faces blunt and unassuming, their movements placid. They resemble oversized guinea pigs more than jungle architects. Yet the capybara is the world's largest rodent, with adults often weighing more than 60 kilograms. Size gives them an unexpected dignity, but it is their social nature and semi-aquatic design that truly make them integral to this edge world between river and forest. Capybaras gather in groups that can number from a few individuals to as many as 100. These herds are not chaotic collections, but structured societies. A dominant male often presides, his authority maintained less by violence than by posture, scent marking, and subtle control of movement. Females, numerous and cooperative, share the responsibilities of vigilance and child rearing. Juveniles grow under the protection of the group, their survival tethered to the shared eyes and ears of dozens of companions. In this society, safety is communal. A lone capybara is vulnerable, but a herd functions as a living alarm system, capable of detecting threats long before claws or fangs can close in. Their connection to water is absolute. The capybara's body is engineered for amphibious living, nostrils and eyes positioned high on the skull so it can breathe and watch, while nearly submerged, webbed toe, aiding silent propulsion, and dense, coarse fur that dries quickly after each swim. When danger arises, the herd reacts instantly. Some bolt for cover on land, but most slip seamlessly into the water, vanishing beneath the surface with surprising grace. They can remain submerged for up to 5 minutes, sometimes with only a pair of nostrils breaking the water's skin. To a jaguar or a caiman, the chase ends here. The river, dangerous to many, is the capybara's second home. Their semi-aquatic lifestyle blurs ecological boundaries. By grazing on grasses near the banks, they control plant growth, preventing overdominance of certain species and maintaining open areas that benefit waterfowl and smaller herbivores. By entering the water, they transport nutrients from land to aquatic systems, their dung feeding fish and insects. In turn, the riverside sustains them, offering refuge, hydration, and the rich forage that grows along wetlands. This reciprocity between land and water is not incidental. It is a keystone relationship that stabilizes the entire edge ecosystem. Predation defines another dimension of their importance. Capybaras are among the most abundant large prey in the Amazon. Jaguars stalk them with lethal patience, knowing that their predictable habits at the water's edge provide hunting opportunities. Anacondas lurk in the shallows, waiting for the moment when a capybara mistakes safety for routine. Caimans, too, claim their share, ambushing the young or unwary. Without capybaras, these apex predators would struggle to maintain their populations. Their abundance provides a steady energy source that stabilizes predator numbers, preventing desperate hunts that might otherwise collapse other prey populations. The capybara, by living and dying in such numbers, anchors the predator-prey balance of the Amazon's waterways. Life in large herds, however, comes with its own challenges. Parasites and diseases spread quickly in dense groups. Capybaras are hosts to ticks, fleas, and even vampire bats, which feed on their blood during the night. Yet their grooming rituals, where individuals nibble and comb through each other's fur, reduce parasite loads while reinforcing social bonds. This behavior blurs the line between hygiene and communication, showing how survival and cohesion intertwine. Their constant contact from grooming to huddling in rest creates not just a herd, but a living web of interdependence. Reproduction amplifies their influence. Capybara females are highly fecund, often giving birth to litters of 4 to 8 pups after a gestation of about 150 days. The young are precocial, able to graze within hours of birth, though they rely on milk from any lactating female in the group, not just their mother. This communal nursing system ensures high survival rates, a rare strategy among mammals, but one that allows the herd to thrive despite the constant pressure of predators. More capybaras mean more stability for those predators and more balance in the flow of energy across the ecosystem. Their behavior reveals an understated intelligence. Capybaras are keenly aware of their surroundings, responding not just to immediate threats, but to subtle cues in the environment. They can distinguish predator calls from harmless noises, adjusting their vigilance accordingly. At times they even graze in synchrony, heads rising and lowering in rhythm, a collective scanning of the horizon that maximizes detection. It is a form of shared cognition, an emergent awareness that emerges only when many eyes watch together. Thermoregulation is another hidden challenge for these animals. In the humid tropics, overheating is constant risk. Capybaras address this not through speed or long-distance migration, but through water. By spending hours submerged, they shed excess heat, their bodies cooled by evaporation and conduction. Mud wallows provide further relief, coating their skin against insects while lowering body temperature. These behaviors reflect a deep evolutionary compromise. Instead of dispersing or adapting physiologically to extreme heat, capybaras manipulate their environment, using water and mud as tools of survival. Culturally, they occupy a curious position. In parts of South America, capybaras are considered game animals, prized for their meat and hide. Yet in many indigenous traditions, they are seen as communal teachers, embodying cooperation and coexistence. The Catholic Church once even classified them as fish, allowing their consumption during Lent because of their aquatic lifestyle. This odd human categorization reflects how the capybara challenges boundaries: rodent, yet ungulate-like, terrestrial, yet aquatic, prey, yet stabilizer of predators. In the grand web of shadows, the capybara represents equilibrium. Unlike the squirrel monkey, which transforms the canopy with noise and motion, or the coral snake, which rules through fear, the capybara exerts influence through constancy. It is prey, but prey in such abundance that its loss would ripple catastrophically across the system. It is consumer, but a consumer that maintains grasslands and riverside vegetation. It is social, but its societies extend benefits beyond their own kind, offering vigilance cues to birds and shaping plant communities for insects and fish. Its shadow is not dramatic, not venomous, not acrobatic. It is balance itself, soft yet essential, holding the system steady at the water's edge. As dusk falls, the family group gathers close. Some graze, tearing mouthfuls of grass with steady rhythm. Others slip quietly into the river, their heads forming a line of silhouettes against the sinking sun. The forest around them grows restless with predators stirring, but the capybaras remain calm. Their trust lies not in claws or speed, but in numbers, in vigilance, in water. They are neither dominant nor invisible, but indispensable, proof that in the Amazon, survival is not always written in power or stealth, but in the quiet strength of collective balance. Nightfall in the Amazon transforms the forest into an entirely new world. The dazzling greens of day sink into muted shades of grey and black. Calls shift in tone and frequency. The screams of parrots are replaced by the deep rumble of frogs, the clicks of insects, and the shrill echoes of bats navigating in darkness. The canopy, so restless during daylight, grows hushed while the forest floor begins to stir. It is here, in this shifting landscape of shadow and silence, that one of the rainforest's most formidable predators emerges. Legs splay wide, body low to the ground, eyes glinting under the faint shimmer of moonlight, the Brazilian wandering spider has begun its patrol. This spider is infamous, feared even among those who know little of the jungle's intricacies. It is often cited as one of the most venomous spiders on Earth. Its bite delivers a potent cocktail of neurotoxins capable of paralyzing muscles, interfering with breathing, and in severe cases leading to death. Yet what makes the Brazilian wandering spider remarkable is not simply the lethality of its venom, but how it has wielded this power to rewrite the rules of nocturnal survival. In a forest where many spiders rely on the engineering marvel of webs, this predator has abandoned silk snares. Instead it stalks. It hunts on foot, weaving not webs of thread, but webs of fear. Unlike orb weavers suspended in the canopy, the wandering spider is a ground-level assassin. Its hunting strategy depends on mobility, speed, and a keen sensitivity to vibration. The hairs along its legs are exquisitely tuned to detect the faintest tremor, the flutter of an insect wing, the scuttle of a frog, the brush of a lizard against leaf litter. Guided by these microsignals, it closes distance in an instant, lunging with a precision that gives prey no time to react. What makes this approach so effective is its unpredictability. A frog at rest may expect danger from above, an owl's talons, a snake's strike, but it does not anticipate sudden attack from the ground beneath. The wandering spider thrives on this element of surprise, exploiting blind spots in the defensive instincts of its prey. The breadth of its diet underscores its role as a regulator in the nocturnal ecosystem. Insects form the bulk of its meals, but frogs, lizards, and even small mammals may fall victim. This generalist approach ensures that it never depends too heavily on any single prey source, making it resilient in the face of seasonal fluctuations. When insect populations drop in the dry season, amphibians provide sustenance. When amphibians disperse during heavy rains, insects and rodents become the mainstay once more. Each kill is not just nourishment for the spider, but an adjustment in the balance of the forest floor, suppressing some populations while giving others a chance to grow. Its venom, refined by millions of years of evolution, serves functions beyond the immediate kill. In prey, it acts swiftly, shutting down nervous impulses and preventing escape. But the venom's reputation has grown larger than its actual use. Predators, too, are wary. Small mammals and birds avoid them, not because the spiders actively hunt larger creatures, but because even the chance of envenomation carries too great a risk. This wariness creates a halo of influence around the spider, altering the nighttime patterns of animals that would otherwise dominate the ground. In this way, its shadow is not only physical but psychological, dictating the movement of others long after the spider has passed. Aggression is another feature that sets the Brazilian wandering spider apart. While many spiders prefer retreat, this species will stand its ground when threatened. Raising its front legs high, fangs displayed, it strikes a defensive posture that is as intimidating as it is effective. Such behavior reduces predation risk, but also spreads its reputation across species. To survive in the rainforest is to learn quickly, and few animals repeat the mistake of challenging a wandering spider. In the calculus of survival, intimidation can be as valuable as actual venom. Yet aggression is only one side of its nature. Like all creatures, it must contend with its own vulnerabilities. Temperature and humidity govern its nightly activity. Too much heat and its body risks desiccation. Too little and its metabolism slows, dulling reflexes. The spider manages this by timing its patrols carefully, venturing out when conditions optimize its chances of success. Its body plan, flattened and long-legged, is not just built for attack, but also for dispersing heat and moving efficiently across the uneven substrate of the forest floor. Biology and behavior mesh seamlessly, creating a predator perfectly suited to the shadows. The wandering spider's reproductive cycle adds another dimension to its influence. Females produce egg sacs that may contain hundreds of eggs, guarded fiercely until hatching. This maternal vigilance ensures high survival rates compared to many other invertebrates. As spiderlings disperse, they colonize wide swaths of the forest, ensuring the species' continuity and presence across vast territories. Predators may take many, but the sheer volume of offspring ensures resilience. In turn, these juveniles become prey for ants, birds, and small reptiles, feeding back into the ecosystem before the strongest reach adulthood. Thus, the Brazilian wandering spider not only controls populations as a hunter, but also sustains others as prey during its earliest life stages. Interactions with humans have further magnified its reputation. Wandering spiders are known to enter human dwellings, seeking shelter in clothing, shoes, or crops like bananas, which has earned them their infamous nickname, the banana spider. This proximity has heightened fear, but it also illustrates their adaptability. Unlike specialists bound to narrow ecological niches, wandering spiders exploit both wild and human-modified environments. Their survival in landscapes increasingly shaped by people reveals an unsettling truth. Some creatures thrive in the shadows of human expansion, bending even our rules of space and safety. To understand their ecological role fully, one must consider not just the animals they kill, but the behaviors they reshape. Small frogs may avoid open ground, altering where they breed and feed. Nocturnal rodents may change their foraging windows, reducing overlap with the spider's activity. In turn, these adjustments cascade. Insects breed differently. Plants experience shifts in pollination or seed dispersal. Predators adjust hunting patterns. The wandering spider, by being both predator and threat, acts as a hidden conductor of the forest's nocturnal symphony, keeping tempo through fear as much as through consumption. This makes it the perfect embodiment of the shadow connection. Where the squirrel monkey redefines survival through collective vigilance and the coral snake through memory of venom, the wandering spider rules the hours of darkness by presence and reputation combined. To move through the forest floor at night is to gamble that each rustle in the leaf litter is harmless. Yet for countless creatures, the gamble is not worth taking. They adjust, they avoid, they change their behavior in ways that reverberate across the web of life. The spider does not need to be everywhere to exert influence. It needs only to be possible, its danger lingering as an unseen weight over the choices of others. As dawn approaches, the wandering spider retreats into crevices, burrows, or the spaces beneath fallen logs. The forest floor warms, birds descend, and daylight predators resume command. Yet the rules of night remain altered by its passage. Every prey animal that survived did so by adjusting. Every predator that avoided it shaped its hunt accordingly. And so the Brazilian wandering spider leaves its mark not in webs strung between trees, but in invisible threads of fear woven through the nocturnal fabric of the jungle. In the web of shadows, its role is absolute. It is the law of uncertainty itself. A creature that forces others to live with the possibility of sudden death in every step, every pause, every moment of hesitation. In this way, it does not simply hunt the night, it defines it. The Amazon does not sleep, it shifts. As light fades and returns, as water rises and recedes, as predators strike and vanish, the rules of survival flex and bend. To call this place a battlefield of tooth and claw alone is to miss its deeper truth. The rainforest is a living manuscript, its laws constantly redrafted, not by the most powerful, but by the most adaptive. To see this, we must step back from the details: the leap of a monkey, the glint of a snake, the sway of an insect, the silence of a rodent herd, the stalk of a spider, and observe the whole pattern they weave. Together, they form a web of shadows, an unseen lattice of influence binding the canopy to the ground, the riverbank to the night. At the forest ceiling, the squirrel monkey commands the daylight hours with energy and voice. Its presence reverberates far beyond its small frame. In leaping from branch to branch, it disperses seeds that will grow into towering trees. In screaming alarms, it alerts not only its kin, but birds, lizards, and even rival primates. It is a creature of motion and noise, yet its legacy is subtle. A reshaped canopy, a network of vigilance, a choreography of survival where collective presence outweighs individual fragility. The monkey rewrites law by making connection itself a weapon. Closer to the ground, the coral snake glides through leaf litter, carrying a different kind of power. Its law is not one of action, but of memory. Bright rings of red, black, and yellow are as effective as fangs, triggering avoidance in predators who need no reminder of what a mistake might cost. Even harmless species borrow this warning pattern, testifying to the snake's cultural dominance across the jungle's sensory language. It kills rarely, but influences constantly. In the theater of survival, the coral snake does not shout nor chase. It whispers a single warning: "Remember me," and the forest does. Among the twigs and foliage lurks another kind of strategist, one that survives by subtraction. The stick insect thrives by making itself vanish. Its mimicry is so complete that predators often pass inches away without noticing. It rewrites the rule that says survival depends on fighting, fleeing, or frightening. Instead, it proves that invisibility itself is a form of agency. By swaying like a branch in the wind, by shedding a limb to escape, by regenerating what was lost, the stick insect bends natural law toward absence. Its contribution to the web of shadows is paradoxical. By being unseen, it forces others to sharpen their senses, to hesitate, to mistrust their own eyes. At the edge of the water, the capybara moves to a slower rhythm. It grazes in herds, lounges in mud, or sinks beneath the river's surface with practiced calm. Nothing about it seems extraordinary. until one considers the scale of its influence. By existing in numbers, it stabilizes predator populations, offering jaguars, caimans, and anacondas a reliable source of energy. By grazing, it maintains open banks that support countless other species. By moving between land and water, it transfers nutrients across ecosystems. Its law is quiet equilibrium. It is prey, yet prey so abundant and cooperative that it becomes an anchor of balance. The capybara proves that survival can be achieved not through fear or speed, but through constancy and connection. And then there is the Brazilian wandering spider, the night's stalker. Where others influence by presence, absence, or abundance, this predator shapes the forest through uncertainty. It patrols the ground in darkness, aggressive, fast, and armed with venom strong enough to paralyze. Yet its power extends beyond its kills. Frogs breed differently because of it. Rodents alter foraging paths. Insects disperse in cautious patterns. Fear of the spider's unpredictability rewrites the jungle's nocturnal rules. Here, every rustle in the leaves might conceal death. The wandering spider embodies the essence of shadow, unseen danger shaping the decisions of all who share its realm. Taken alone, each of these species is remarkable, but their true significance lies in how they interlock. The monkey shapes the canopy, the snake defines the undergrowth, the insect disappears into foliage, the capybara steadies the water's edge, and the spider dictates the terms of night. Each occupies a different layer, yet together they weave an invisible web, one that is not spun of silk, but of influence. This web does not glitter in sunlight. It trembles only in the hesitations, the detours, the altered lives of every creature that encounters its threads. The rainforest teaches through them that rules are not fixed. They bend, they fracture, they are rewritten again and again by strategies that range from flamboyant to invisible, from communal to solitary, from aggressive to passive. The squirrel monkey's chatter, the coral snake's colors, the stick insect's vanishing act, the capybara's abundance, the spider's stalking presence, all are chapters in a book that never closes. And in that book, survival is not simply about who kills or who lives, but about who can change the behavior of others, who can tilt the balance without ever drawing blood. Perhaps this is the deeper truth of the web of shadows. Power lies not always in action, but in influence, not in being seen, but in shaping what others see. Not in dominance, but in balance. These creatures remind us that ecosystems are not governed by simple laws of strength, but by subtler laws of adaptation, perception, and memory. As the montage fades, the Amazon exhales once more. Monkeys leap, snakes slide, insects sway, rodents graze, spiders patrol. The dance continues, unseen threads pulled taut across day and night. And a final question lingers. If in this jungle, nature's laws can be bent and rewritten by creatures in shadow, what hidden laws might exist in our own world? Laws we overlook, yet that quietly shape the course of survival.